Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 18 for Pure Speed Elite Series here at Nashville Superspeedway. A track that demands consistency, these drivers will have their hands full. As it may be called a superspeedway, this low bank track calls for heavy braking into the turns and a lot of wheel work to hold on to it coming off the exits. Spins will happen, tempers will flare, and one will conquer it all. Who will visit victory lane? Stay tuned to find out, as I'm here with Jordan McGraw bringing you all the action from the booth. And we're already set in qualifying. Jordan, how's it going? Are you with me right now?
Yes, I am indeed.
Nice.
It's going well.
I know, it's a totally new track. I'm excited for it. It should be a lot of fun here. So I'm excited to see what we have going on here. But we have Joel Conley on board in the number 62. He is already out there trying to put down some laps. We'll see what he can do out here.
Hi,
what do
can I
you think
speak to
about this
Champ?
track, though, Jordan? You've driven it. What can we
Champ?
expect?
Is Champ there?
Not really sure what we can expect in the race with this many drivers out there. As competitive as this field has been all season long, it's going to be real tight. It's a one-groove racetrack. It's really tough to find speed just outright anywhere but around the bottom. It's a really tight racetrack as far as the grip goes, especially on corner entry. You really have to get slowed down a lot more than you feel like you would at a place with the name Superspeedway in the title. So it's really tough. It's gonna be real interesting how these guys are gonna handle being side by side, and I'm looking for a lot of action entering the corners, and then exiting turn 4 seems to be a really tough part of this racetrack on its own.
I think so. I think it's going to be really fun. In Super Speedway, it is very misleading here. It is a tough track, especially when you're in a group. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they can do. And I have to give a shout out to Hall for 1,000 biddies. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We have Yotes King in the house. What's up? He says, it's like Iowa, but stretched out. I mean, it's very true. You have the long straights and then the corners just like it. Very much so. Yensa, Mr. Met, what's up, guys? Thank you all for tuning in, and I really appreciate it. We have Andrew Wisdom on the top of the board with a 29.4. We have Cole Snyder directly behind. I'm hoping that, yeah, this thing's all jumbled up. I don't know why it does that. It does not like to do the ticker tower out there, but we have Cole Snyder in second, Matt O'Brien in third, Joel Conley in fourth, Charlie Mosley in fifth, and Sean Burke in sixth. So yeah, this race is going to get crazy. 125 laps. It's going to get wild. I'm excited for it. We'll see what these guys can do.
Yeah, real interesting to look at the times. Andrew Wisdom basically even with his practice time to the thousandth of a second, or not a thousandth, 100th, I should say. He was within 100th of his practice time, actually beat it by that 100th. But then Cole Snyder was a full 10th faster than his practice time, while Matthew O'Brien was a full 10th slower. So real interesting to see how these practice times are differing from the qualifying times these guys are currently trying to run. Of course, there are other cars out there, so you can get a little draft help, and that can increase your time or hurt your time a little bit if you get them in the corner and get a little arrow tight on you. But really interesting to see how these guys are going to back up their times and by themselves.
Yeah, I think it's going to be super close. We had some 4s and 5s, 29.4 and 5, absolutely flying out there. 4.52, a 5.34. Cole Snyder, I'm really impressed. I've seen quite some progress from him these past few weeks, so I'm excited for him. I want to see him do well. He's had some bad luck in the past couple of races, so let's get him up here. I want to see him get his first win. I think it can happen, and tonight he's looking really strong so far. So that's some exciting stuff right there.
Yeah, well, the first thing I would do is not invite him to the booth. I think that's the last thing we should do if we want to see him get a W.
I know.
So, I mean, we can eventually, but that's just testing fate. But yeah, just
the booth curse is definitely a thing, and I hate it because I love having the guys in the booth, but I swear every time that we do, something happens to him. We have the pole sitter out in the booth, then all of a sudden somebody else last second takes it over. It's just how it goes.
Or they're already wrecked by lap 15. That happens to them. Or, we bring in somebody who's been leading for 20 laps, and it's like, hey, you're having a great race out there. And then they immediately pit, and 4 other drivers stay out, and they get caught up in a wreck. And
yeah, I know.
We've seen it a lot this season, but you know
we've
what?
Seen it all.
I think we've used up the curse. I think from now on we are going to be good luck to every driver out there. I think you're going to want us to pull you into this booth.
Wouldn't that be nice? I hope that is the case. These guys are awesome. We have James Holzer out here on track trying to get a lap time. One of the last guys out there. He moves up to P8. Ryan Crooks. I think he is a newer driver. I don't remember seeing him out there in the last couple of weeks. He's up here in P6, so really cool to see him out here. We'll see how he does. But Holzer trying to finish out his run here, and he's going to be one of the last guys to make a run as usual. He's usually the one going out there, one of the last, so we'll see what he can do. Hall says, the dang booth curse. J-Mon says, track was slicker than it was in pre-race. Oh boy. Mary Jean says, you look good, Honeycutt. Yeah. Spring Rock says, let's go, Honeycutt. I know, these guys do awesome. And I'll tell you what, I was talking to John Honeycutt beforehand, and he was a little nervous. He didn't like the times he was getting and thought, that he wasn't going to be up there. And I told him, like, you're going to be fine. You're going to get out there. And I'm telling you, you'll be fine. And here he is going to be starting off P4, looking really good as we're finishing up qualifying here. Jordan, who do you think we're going to see up front tonight?
Well, I think we're going to see the usual suspects. A new track. I think this is going to be a place that a lot of these guys don't have a whole lot of experience on. I'm sure since it came out a couple of weeks ago, everybody's had a chance to hit it with something. I know I've been out there in a hosted race. Holzer was out there in that same race, and I'm sure a lot of these other guys have done the same thing. So I don't know. I feel like this is going to be one of those races where drivers that have won this season are going to have a major advantage because they have that natural speed to them.
I think so. We're going to find out. And we have in the booth Andrew Wisdom. I think we're pretty safe to say he is the pole sitter for tonight at Nashville Superspeedway. What's up? It's Eliza in the booth. How are you, Andrew?
Doing pretty good. I did not expect the gap to be this large, though.
A 29:45. I'm telling you, in practice, I was running a 5:36. I mean, you're just absolutely flying out there. What is your strategy going into tonight?
Just trying to save the right front. I think this is going to be one of those tracks, since we're on the brakes so much, that if people are overdriving it and just cranking the wheel too much, they're going to roast the tires off of it. It's a little bit loose on corner exit too, I think, even on the long run. So it's just overall just tire preservation. So hopefully we can kind of keep it clean and we can get that long run. But I don't know. I think it may be a little bit chaotic because it's going to be loose those first couple laps of a restart every time. And I think tires are going to make all the difference.
I absolutely agree. Well, I wish you a ton of luck out there, and hopefully the race will hold on for you, and we'll see you in the booth afterwards.
Hopefully. Sounds good.
All right. See you, Andrew.
Yeah.
All right, you heard it there from Andrew Wisdom. Chris Fathke, what's up? He says hello from the 27. Hope you're doing good, and I hope that you have a great race out there. We need to see you up here in the booth. We need to get you in here. So we'll see what happens for you. All the drivers, a lot of luck to them tonight. We're getting ready to grid up here. So let's see if we can't get these guys on board and lined up as we're getting ready to grid up and go for 125 laps at Nashville Superspeedway. This is going to be insane. All right, let's take a... Go ahead, Jordan.
Oh, no, go ahead. It's go for the grid here.
And the grid, we're going to have on pole Andrew Wisdom in that number 9 with a 29.452. On the outside, we're going to have Cole Snyder in that number 23. In row 2, we're going to have Jaden Gimbla in that number 3 with John Honeycutt on the outside in that number 50. In row 3, we're going to have Matt O'Brien in that 17 car with Ryan Crooks in that 25 on the outside. In row 4, we're going to have Joel Conley in that 62 with James Holzer in that 42 on the outside. In row 5, Enrique Quinones in that 45 with Charlie Mosley Jr. in that number 60 on the outside.
Row 6 is Jamie Haynes and Justin Mons. Sean Burke will be inside of Sammy Harrell on row 7. Clayton Duncan and Corey Blevins make up row 8. Doc Holliday and Adam Rowe will start from row 9. And row 10, Giovanni Klein with Jake Roel on his outside.
Row 11 is going to be Austin Reedy in that number 11. And I do believe we see Jordan out there, but he's not racing. We have Michael York in row 12.
That you know of.
We have Michael York in row 12 with that number 5. And Michael Bain in the 34. And let's see, we have Chris Fathke in that number 27. He's going to be in 25th place. So we're getting ready to go, guys. This is going to be wild. I'm super excited to see it. These guys are already taking to the grid. We'll get these guys lined up and ready to go.
Yeah, an interesting note from qualifying. This is the first race we've seen in a while, at least, that the first lap was the faster of the two. So that kind of goes to what Andrew Wisdom was talking about, this being a tire race. Saving the tires is going to be real important as times already begin falling off even after that first lap. I think James Holzer is the first driver who actually picked up any bit of time in his second qualifying lap, and that was only by about a 100th of a second. So not a lot of time out there on old tires at all. I'm sure these guys are going to be trying to get to pit road as often as they can to get fresh rubber.
Absolutely. It's just an interesting track. It's going to be one of the first times this is ran here. It's Nashville Superspeedway. New track for these guys. You do have to brake quite a bit going into the corners, and when you have that dirty air in front of you, it will kind of move your car up. It will get you loose, so coming off these corners. So very interesting for these guys. They're going to have their hands full. So if they can keep it clean, give each other some space these first few laps, I think we're going to see a few green flag laps here. It's the end of the race when tempers start to flare and these guys get really anxious to make it through the field. That's when I think we're going to see some things happen. Guys getting ready to go. 125 laps at Nashville Superspeedway, and we are off. Andrew Wisdom going to lead us off with Cole Snyder on the outside. Andrew Wisdom with a great start. He's going to bring it up high. Matt O'Brien is going to go into second place right behind him, and these two have been fast in practice. They're ready to go, Jordan. Matt O'Brien on the heels of Andrew Wisdom. It is very, very close. Cole Snyder, these guys are single file line until about 5th place when John Honeycutt, it looks like he's going to go side by side with James Holzer. These guys super, super close. Only a piece of paper between them through that corner, but they're managing to hold on to it.
Yeah, Holzer starting in 8th, already trying to work his way up and is into that 5th spot, so trying to move forward. A couple of cars in the very, very back getting a little crossways, but they're able to keep going single file all the way back to about the 12th, 13th spot, somewhere in there, as our drivers already trying to get acclimated and get into a rhythm around this very, very unique, shorter than a 1.5 mile super speedway.
Yeah, a lot of fun racing to be had here. You can see the 4 and the 43, and I'll tell you what, Clayton Duncan in that number 4 car. He's got the Gravedigger paint scheme looking really good out there, going side by side with Sammy Harrell. These guys are going to tuck right in next to each other. Guy getting loose. That is Joel Conley. Let's take a look. He is going to fall back, and I'm trying to catch up with him here. Where is he going? Jordan.
I don't know. Just look. Let's see what happened there. Not really sure. Oh, maybe did he get a little contact? Nope, no contact from the 50. He just got loose coming off the corner and then trying to save it, got into the grass and then was trying to keep it straight and it just got out from under him. But Conley, who had a really, really solid qualifying effort, is going to be moving to the back of the pack here.
Really unfortunate to see for him, but let's take a look at these top guys. We have Andrew Wisdom still holding on to it, using up the track, going down to the inside as he's going around the corners. Exactly what you need to do. You need to get down right above that apron. Make sure you hug that around, and as long as you're not going side by side with someone, you'll be able to hold that out. Dino, what's up? How are you? Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Jordan, you go ahead.
Yeah. One thing saw a lap ago, the 42 made a move underneath the 23 of Cole Snyder down that front straight using that apron. That's something that is going to be interesting to see. There's not a whole lot of grip down there, but that is technically the shorter way around that front straightaway. So will drivers use that to make passes? That's not surprising to see the 42 attempting that. And we're going to see if anyone else decides to use that shorter track as the 9 of Andrew Wisdom actually by himself, since his nose down there, since his car down there to her way around.
Yeah, you know, and when I was racing here the other night, I was definitely using all of that going through the tri-oval here. And it gets you a little loose, so it can be a little bit scary as you are side by side. It wants to throw your car just from the banking difference. So it's interesting to see if these guys use it. You see Andrew using it. I bet it's going to wear those tires just a little bit more, but it is most definitely faster, and it will give you a run coming off. Suave out in chat, what's up? We miss you out here. Kool-Aid said, crew chief said we needed to go get ice cream. You were on a mission, man. I just caught a glimpse of you going through the grass, and you were just going. Luckily, no one was really affected by that, but we need to get you back out there, Kool-Aid. Uh-oh.
We have a big wreck in the back. Big wreck.
Let's take a look at what happened. It looks like Doc Holliday's involved. The 43 is involved. Let's take a look at that. That is Sammy Harrell. A couple of guys going to have to go in and repair that damage. They will have a quick repair to be able to do that with.
Yeah, the 11 of Austin Reedy got a little tight through the center and on the exit of turn 4 and just got up into the 43 machine. Nothing that Sammy Harrell could do to hold on to that race car, and unfortunately the 58 of Jamie Haynes got a real big piece of that accident. The 88 of Doc Holliday able to avoid it, several others taking evasive action, but a big 2-car wreck early on here at Nashville Superspeedway.
Lap 10 of 125, plenty more laps to go, and I'll tell you what, these guys can get around, I would say, I think it was 50 or so laps of fuel. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jordan. So definitely an early pit stop for these guys. I'm curious who's going to stay in, who's going to go in, who's going to stay out. We'll find out in a moment from these guys.
I imagine everybody is going to come in to try to get some fresh rubber.
Two
tires is going to be the interesting call here. We'll see if any of them attempt that. But yes, it's about 49-50 laps that you can get with normal pace. Maybe 45 to maybe 55 might be possible. Probably not. Maybe 52 or 53 if you really wanted to save. So yeah, about a half 100. So we're still looking at a couple of pit stops from here if this thing goes green. But I imagine that now that these drivers are a little more comfortable with this racetrack, there's going to be a lot more action. But it looks like everyone took 4 here, Frozen.
Looks like everyone took 4. Wisdom is going to be the first off with O'Brien in second, James Holzer in third, Cole Snyder in fourth, John Honeycutt in fifth, and Ryan Crooks just sitting out on the outside of the top 5 in P6.
Yeah, O'Brien up 3 positions from his starting spot. Holzer up 5, and also looking through Justin Mons as well up 5 from 12th place. He is currently 7th. So a few drivers making their way forward from where they started early on in this event.
Absolutely. Hall, I want to give a shout out. 250 bits. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And Kool-Aid, he called it. He says, track is extremely technical. Whoever wins it has earned it. Yes, consistency is key here. It is very technical. You really have to nail it lap after lap. Make sure you're getting those braking points. Make sure you're getting the gas points that you need to take for the exits to get a nice run off. That is what is going to be key here. And of course, you got to keep it clean and stay out of trouble. If you can't do that, you're going nowhere pretty quick. Swab says, I miss racing with these guys. We miss you too. Definitely miss seeing you out here. Gale 4 says, how many set of tires do they have? I do believe they can take however many that they need. They might change that next season, but as right now, that's where we're at.
It is indeed an unlimited tire sets. So just the fuel limit is at 75%, just for in case anyone else is wondering that as well. That is the current settings of this league.
Absolutely. Andrew Wisdom looking very, very strong out here. I was really impressed with his lap times. Very consistent as we've seen so far in the first part of this race. Matt O'Brien, he's another one, Jordan, that I'm super excited about. I've seen him grow a lot so far in the season, seeing him go up to the top 5 consistently. We've seen him in the booth a few times now. I do believe he's gotten a win or possibly 2, so really cool to see that out here, and I want to see what he can do here tonight. He seems to be pretty good at those technical tracks.
And this is a very technical track, which is very weird for a place that's 1.33 miles in length. Of course, another relatively long superspeedway. Darlington is another track that's very, very technical in the way that it is, very, very narrow. This track, relatively wide, but still with the lack of front grip, the amount of brake you have to use here, it's kind of funny. You almost have to drive this place a little like a Richmond, get real heavy on the braking and then try to let the car roll through the center until you're comfortable, get that opportunity to get on the gas. It's a very, very, very weird racetrack. It's a fun challenge, but it's also one groove and very, very tough to race others on.
Absolutely. I mean, the high side, if you're getting left out on the high side, you're really going to have to drive it. And more than likely, you are going to fall back a little bit unless the guy below you messes up and gets too loose. Whatever it may be, they're going to have a hard time on this high side. These guys are getting ready to go back to green, lap 13 of 125. So we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. We're just to the start of this racing, and Andrew Wisdom is off in the start. Matt O'Brien with an insane start here. We have James Holzer back behind. We have John Honeycutt, who is trying to keep up with him. Cole Snyder stuck on the outside, going too wide with these guys, doing a great job on the outside. We'll see what they can do out here.
Yeah, when you have the most grip, that's when you can be aggressive out there and you can fight the hardest. But really interesting, the 42 actually really high. Not sure if he missed the corner or if he's trying to sort of late apex the exit of turn 4 to try to improve that run down the straightaway. But as you mentioned, an excellent restart out of the 17 of Matthew O'Brien as he's able to get to the 9, but he gets into turn 1 just a little bit hard, slides up the track, loses a little bit of ground. He's going to be able to draft a little bit of that back, but otherwise getting in a little bit hard with that clean air, that 9 able to just do what he wants at the moment. But the 17 gets through 3 pretty well, but loses a little bit on the exit of 4 as they tick off another lap.
Yeah, it's pretty far. Single file line we'll see. You see John Honeycutt in that number 50. He is sitting P4 right now with Justin Mons. P5 in that number 41 car. Cole Snyder fell back a couple of spots as he was stuck on the outside. Not a lot of help for him, but he is still on the move. And like I said earlier, I'm impressed with his run lately. And Ryan Crooks, I've never seen him out here, but so far, he's doing pretty good too there, Jordan.
Yeah, doing an excellent job for a new driver out here, running in that 6th spot. Was really solid in practice, running some solid laps here at the moment. But as he is sitting in that 7th position behind these guys, but the top 3 starting to come together just a little bit. That gap's closed by about a half a car length between the 9 and the 17. Meanwhile, the 42 of James Holzer, he's starting to make a run forward. It really feels like the 17 of O'Brien getting in a little bit hard. He's able to make up a little bit of ground on entry, and the 9 continues to use that apron down the front straight.
Yeah, I want to go on Let's see if we can go on board with James Holzer at the moment. You can see he looks like he is just getting ready to make that move, waiting for any second to make that happen. Just all over the back bumper of Matt O'Brien, and these three are super close together. Meanwhile, you see Justin Mons, he's about almost a second back from our leader, and you can see Holzer making a move down on the inside of Matt O'Brien. These two side by side entering the turn. We'll see how they hold on to it. Matt O'Brien concedes that spot, tucks in behind Holzer, and they're still moving.
Yeah, he lets the 42 go, and now the 42 has his set sight on that 9 machine of wisdom. So the 17 falls into that spot, and imagine he will be willing to ride there for a little while. But behind him, the 41 of Justin Mons has made up another couple of spots on this restart, up to 4th position from the 12th place starting spot. So a lot of spots gained here. Kinda gotta worry if he's burning up his tires and working his way forward, but so far so good for the 41 machine.
Yeah, he is sitting right behind Matt O'Brien, and like Jordan said, I'm really impressed with his run also, making his way through the field. And I feel like he's had a lot of stuff happen where unfortunate circumstances have taken him out of races or put him back in the group for the finish here. So I want to see him do well. We'll see if he can keep the consistency out here and get a game plan, a good strategy to match, and we'll see him out here in the booth. I guarantee it. Stratus, what's up? How are you guys? Thank you so much for tuning in. Mike the Noob, how are you? You guys are awesome. Mary Jean still saying, you go, Honeycutt. We have a couple of fans out there for him. He is doing good, sitting P5 at the moment. These guys are very, very close together. You can just see we have John Honeycutt, Ryan Crooks, and Jake Roel directly behind him in that number 19. It says 9, but it's supposed to be 19. But these guys are very, very close. Meanwhile, I want to take a look. Look at this gap. We have Matt O'Brien and then Justin Mons closing up that gap. So, man, that is a man on a mission. But as Jordan said earlier, how the tire's going to look coming up on a late run here.
Just to go back to that previous group as the 25 and the 50 battle, behind them that 19 of Jake Roel started in the 20th position. He is up 13 spots from his starting position. He was one of the drivers who opted to not make a qualifying lap, and behind him after the 23 of Cole Snyder is the 11 of Austin Reedy, involved in that first yellow flag, triggered it just a little bit there. He's up 12 spots from the 21st spot. He is up to 9th. So both of those drivers, after opting not to turn a lap in qualifying, are working their way forward through the field as these drivers are battling hard for 5th, and that is costing them a lot of time as the top 4 checking out on this field.
Man, oh man, and then 9 is really pushing it right there. Jake Roel, man, oh man, he is a man on a mission. He is like, let me out of here. Right now, he is stuck behind the 25 and the 50 of John Honeycutt. He is wanting to make his way around. He's going to have to be patient for right now. These two are back single file line, so if he's going to be able to do it, now's the time.
The 25 of Crooks had to fight hard to get that position on Honeycutt, but able to finally complete that pass, move him into the top 5. Honeycutt back into the 6th spot. He's moved back a couple of positions since the start of this race, but still holding a solid pace. The 9 of Roel is going to try to get after him, as the 23 of Cole Snyder directly behind them, waiting an opportunity to make his way forward a couple of spots.
Take a look at these guys. You can just see that is a long backstretch, a long straightaway. Wow, you get so much speed, and then you just have to counteract that and just put on the brakes. And when you have the draft, it can swing you up to the wall. You have to be really careful on how you do that. You have to get a feel for it and how to maneuver around that. And with the draft and the dirty air, it really does affect your car quite a bit. Andrew Wisdom still out here in the lead, but he's got a hungry James Holzer directly behind him, getting ready to put that pressure on him, saying, hey, I'm here, I want the lead, I'm knocking on your door, and I'm ready to make a move.
speaking of making a move, there is a heck of a battle for the 10th spot right now. As Corey Blevins leading this group of about 5 cars that are all on top of each other. Clayton Duncan had a look underneath, not able to complete that pass and loses a lot of momentum. But these drivers on top of each other right now, battling for this position.
Yeah, the 4 car of Clayton Duncan getting up super high into the 3 of Jaden Gimble, making a little bit of a contact that it looked like. But these guys are still off and running side by side. Once again in the
wall hard.
Man, oh man, that was a hard hit for Corey Blevins. He's going through the grass. We'll see if he can hold on to it. Nice save, nice save.
That's a lot of damage. Obviously, probably not going to want to get... Oh, somebody behind him gets the wall just a little bit. But, yeah, that turn 4 is what we were talking about pre-race. That turn, it seems like it's the loosest part of the track on cold tires, on new fresh tires, and then it swaps to being the tightest part of the track on old tires. It's real easy to misjudge your speed, get on the gas a little early, and absolutely knock the wall down. And it seemed like that's what happened to the 48 of Blevins on the exit of 4.
Yeah, and if you recall, I believe it was Justin Bonds earlier on that said it is so much more loose than what it was in practice. So a lot of these guys may be feeling that effect, and they might have to do a lot of wheel work to be able to keep it off the wall. And that's what we saw right there. He had a fantastic save, but bringing it back up to our leader, Andrew Wisdom. Man, oh man, knock on wood, but this guy is on a roll. He's got this track down. James Holzer was up to his back bumper, but has fallen back just a tiny bit here, but still doing phenomenal. We have Matt O'Brien still holding on. Justin Mons in 4th, and we see, who is that? Ryan Crooks got a little loose coming off the corner. Lost some time on that, but he's kind of right in the center of both these groups here, Jordan.
Yeah, really. Yeah, he had to get out of the gas. Actually got real tight, hit the wall actually really hard getting off of turn 4. So a little bit of damage on that 25 machine, and that's sort of what we saw out of the 48 of Blevins. Just got on the gas a little bit early, pushed up the track into that wall, and this track flips a switch so quickly. It doesn't take a lot of laps for the tightness to come in and for this place to be real difficult to get around. And we're seeing it we saw it with a driver who was leading a pack, and then now we saw it with Crooks, who was sort of tailing our front 4. So no real safe spot to get that perfect aerodynamics, to have the perfect handling that you want. These drivers just have to nail their laps, stay focused, and hit their marks, and not get too greedy for that lap time to keep that car out of the wall.
Absolutely. We have Jaden Gimble in that number 3. He is currently sitting P12. It's got Clayton Duncan in that 4 car, which a couple of you guys have mentioned the paint scheme out here for the Gravedigger. Looking really good out there. But these guys, pretty tight racing. You saw them 2 wide earlier on, starting to spread out just a little bit, but man, oh man. Pretty clean race so far. I'm gonna knock on wood. I can't help it. The booth curse is real, so these guys are looking good. This top 4, you can see it right here. Andrew Wisdom back to our leader. The top 4 is in a group with Ryan Crooks about almost 2 3/4 second back, with Honeycutt right behind him. So these guys are starting to spread out past the top 4.
Yeah, our top 4 still on top of each other and still running some pretty solid laps. First lap of this run, the Wisdom ran a 29.5. He ran a 31.1 there, and we were seeing, I imagine at the very, very end of one of these runs, the times could get all the way into the 32s. I saw with some people. So the 31 of Wisdom running really, really solid lap times. The 42 of Holzer still maintaining that gap. The 17 of O'Brien, the 41 of Mons, really, really staying even and not changing that gaps between these 4. But these front 4, as you mentioned, really starting to leg it out over the rest of the pack.
Absolutely. We're on board with Justin Mons in that 41, and we're going to see how he takes these turns. You can see how much braking he is doing. You can hear it in the engine and everything else. So coming off a little wide, has to let off a little bit more to keep it off the wall. Had to do a little bit of wheel work, got a little loose, but he's still holding on to it. You know, though, he's had a huge run here so far tonight. He is wearing down those tires. I guarantee you he is definitely feeling it. And it looks like, Jordan, that he's putting a little gap between those him and the guy in front of him. So he's fallen off the field a little bit.
Yeah, I think that run through the field starting to bite him just a little bit. I mean, it's what he had to do. You have to make up track position, especially at a place like this where passing is at a premium. But he's definitely feeling the effects of those tires. Really needs a yellow, but they're not that far from the window being open to make their pit stop. So they're about 24 laps into this run, 25 so far. So they're about halfway through a full fuel run, and I don't think you're going to want to run it out, as they restarted, I think, before a point where they could save the fuel. So this would be a spot where, if you wanted a short pit, might not be a horrible idea, but we're going to have to see if any of those drivers elect to make that decision.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you for the biddies. I really appreciate it. I saw that earlier, just haven't had a chance to say it, but thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You guys, we have a huge event coming up, so I want to talk about this. We're going to break it over here. Talladega, we have the Alpha 1 600 charity race, July 31st. It starts at 6 p.m. Eastern time, and it's 6 hours at Dega in the next gen cars. You can have 1 to 3 people per team. It's $30 to register as a team, and it goes directly to charity. If you're interested, please let me know in chat or in a DM afterwards, and I will try to get you into the Discord for that. I suggest doing it. We have a lot of guys out here, but there still is room for more drivers. So if you want to take part in that, please do. It's going to be just the best time. We have a lot of announcers out there, a lot of drivers, a lot of teams. So take your part, do your part, race for charity, and have fun. Jordan, I see Justin Mons. Looks like he's losing a little bit more. The tires are definitely going to be an issue here tonight. I'm curious how much longer these guys will stay out. I mean, you just called it how much they've been on these tires so far. But it's getting close here. These guys are definitely feeling the effects of tire wear.
He was actually, we'll see what this next lap was, but the previous lap, he was actually the fastest of our top 4 by just a smidge. He ran a 31.2 this time. He ran a 31.22, O'Brien with a 2.5, Holzer actually with a 1.9, and Wisdom with a 2.0. So actually these 4 are running really, really equal times, separated only by about a half a tenth at the moment, with Holzer currently running the fastest times out of all of them. But it's sort of plateaued just a little bit for the 41 of Mons, but visibly it looks like that last lap might not have been quite what he wanted, but now he was actually pretty quick compared to everybody. So I don't know, it looks like he's losing time, but he's actually running really well for where he is at and how hard he's had to push his machine compared to these other 3.
Absolutely. These guys have settled it out. One caution so far here tonight. A very, very clean race. Single file. These guys are definitely spreading out. We have a couple of guys that are in a pack here, but we have Andrew Wisdom. Let's take a look. It looks like he is coming up on some traffic here.
And that's going to be real interesting. He hadn't had to work around anybody at all, and now on old tires, he's going to have to make passes. The 27 of Christopher Fathke gives him plenty of room as they work around him. Now he's going to go after the 48 of Corey Blevins, that wounded machine that not the race he was looking for, as he was having a pretty solid run before pounding down the wall. Now he is just trying to limp around and praying for a yellow flag so he can repair that car.
kind of an awkward position for James Holzer as he is pulling around the corner in the 48 right on his nose. Very, very close for those two, but they are just fine. Still moving along. The 48 falling back a little bit. Really unfortunate for Corey Blevins as he was, as Jordan said, involved in that earlier. But these guys still off and running. Lap 47 of 125. It's been a crazy race. A lot of two-wide racing, but now we're settled in. Single file line. These guys are starting to get separated.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, where Holzer caught Blevins in a real unfortunate position, ended up losing almost a tenth and a half in that exchange, and you can see the gap visibly, but it definitely was there on the stopwatch as well. But Wisdom still running solid lap times. You can see how difficult it is to be consistent as they're running in like a 2 or 3/10 range every lap. Real tough to be perfectly consistent around this place. And the next car Wisdom is going to catch is the 58 of Jamie Haynes, and that machine with a lot of front end damage. So no idea what happened to it, but that car really hurt. May have saved his faster pair from that previous wreck as he was involved in that first yellow flag, but still not the start he is looking for, but he's still on the lead lap.
Still on the lead lap. You can see Andrew Wisdom. He had a couple of cars in his view here, so he's still got a little bit until he catches these guys, but I have a sneaking suspicion that in the next 10 or so laps, we're going to see these guys start to come down pit road for a second stop of the night. Lap 50 of 125. It is moving along very quickly for these guys. They're just doing a phenomenal job out here. A newer track. These guys have not ran this a lot, so this is probably one of the first times these guys have run this with these group of guys, so they're doing a great job.
They're doing a great job, and it sounds like some of these drivers are starting to pit. I believe the 48 of Blevins, who just got lapped, he is coming down, probably to take care of some of that damage. But I'm really surprised to see these guys. Let's see, how many laps was that? It was about 115 to go when they went, or 110 to go. We'll say that. And now I'm trying to do math in my head and it's not working. So you take the wheel from me because I'm going to crash this car if you don't.
We had a question in chat. Let me see. What are the requirements for the race in July? I don't know that there is a requirement. We'll have to check with the guys to see if there is one. You know, just don't be a wrecker. Have fun out there. It's Dega Next Gen. I'll double check to see if there's any requirements, but team of 1 to 3, it is $30 to be entered into it. If I'm not mistaken, we have 43 drivers, but they're on a team, so they will switch out during the race. It's just going to be an absolute blast. So if you can, get a team together. If you don't have one, join in Discord, and hopefully we can get you set up in one.
5 of Michael York has already pit, and he just got one of his laps down. He had a little right side damage, so he's still trying to hold on to that faster pair, and it's about that 35 to 40 lap range would have split this final run into thirds. These guys staying out makes me wonder if they're able to save a little bit of fuel. We're still about, let's see, 40 plus 14, that's 54. So these guys still would be in that split it into thirds range within the next couple of laps. If they stay out, then I'm going to get real curious about what their strategy is, how much fuel they're able to keep in these cars.
You know, we talked about this pre-race, but Kool-Aid brings up a great point. It's really hard to get on pit road here, and he wouldn't be surprised if he saw an accident. You know, speaking of which, Jordan was talking about that pre-race saying, man, oh man, on old tires, pit road is literally insane to try to get onto. So, yeah, I would not be surprised if we see some drivers have some difficulty getting onto pit road. It is not the easiest one to get to.
It is not. It is with these cars losing the front grip as they do, you get slowed down and the thing just will not turn off of the banking, and then you get onto the apron and it won't turn anymore, and the track just kind of disappears from you to go down pit road. Really, really tight corner there, so you have to get down to speed pretty early. pretty quickly and obviously very smoothly, because if you lock up the tires, you're just going to slide up the track. And if you're around other cars and traffic, that is not a good thing. So really, really tough as the 9 puts the 2:23 machine a lap down. So he's still working his way through the field, still counting down green flag laps. And we're getting to that point where I'm going to wonder if maybe these guys can make it on just one stop.
Oh man, that's going to make things very interesting for these guys if they can do so. It is coming to that point. If they can last, I don't know, what do you say, another 7, 8 laps, they would be good to go? Somewhere around there.
Yeah, and I just don't think they have that. But I think I believe the 42 of Holzer, he came down pit road, I believe. Yes, he came down pit road. He is coming off of pit road just now. So he has made his stop, and I imagine that to beat the undercut, we'll see some of these other leaders try to come down immediately. But no, the 9 of Andrew Wisdom is making yet another lap here. So the 42 going to be able to take the lead, I think, on this cycle of pit stops as lap times have now kind of reached that area where they've fallen off about almost 2 seconds from where they started off this run. So if you're the 9 machine, you want to get down pit road immediately, because this place is too difficult to pass to let that 42 beat you on the undercut. But he stays out there for yet another lap, and that makes me wonder if he's saving fuel to make it all the way.
Yes, that is going to be insane. Definitely a strategy move. We'll see if it works out for him, if he can make it happen. Still has a few more laps in order to pull that one off, but we do have a couple of guys on pit road. It look like Jake Rowell, Giovanni Klein. Yeah, we have about 4 drivers on pit road here, so let's see if we can take a look at these guys. You can see the 63, the 9, you name it. They're going to be coming off here, but Andrew Wisdom still out. So it's going to bring in strategy for these guys. And you heard from Jordan.
Oh,
James Holzer stayed out. Go ahead.
The driver on fresher tires came up on 3 drivers trying to make lap there. The 41 of Mons, he's going to come to pit road here this time in. It sounds like the 17 of O'Brien, we'll see if he stays out or not. And the 9 was well coming in. The 17 opts to stay out, so he will take the lead. And the only other option is that they're trying to elongate the fuel so they can take as short of a pit stop for their final green flag stop as possible. Perhaps take 2 tires, perhaps take no tires and just a splash of gas on that final stop. So that's kind of what we're having to see. The 17, he's going to go one more lap here, and he's going to come in this time around. So now all of our leaders getting drawn onto pit road.
Absolutely. That should put pretty much everyone onto pit road with fresh tires. So, man, it's going to cut it close, Jordan. These guys are going to have to save if they want to make that. I'm curious, are they going to make a short stop later on in the race? Man, it's going to be a very interesting call for these guys.
Yeah, 64 laps I don't think is possible, so I think they're just trying to shorten up that final stop. They're probably going to go as far as they can, or as to a certain number that they want to try to either take 2 tires or no tires on that final stop. Otherwise, if you were wanting to take 4, then you would just split that final run nice and neatly into thirds, like it seemed the 42 machine of James Holzer did, because that's going to reward you with the undercut, and he should be the leader here once everything cycles out.
Cole Snyder fell back pretty hard, and I was curious if he was gonna go in. It looks like either he didn't make it in time with the drivers near him. I'm not sure what the case was, but Cole Snyder out here in first, Enrique Quinones in second, James Holzer, he's back to third, about 16 seconds behind our current leader. And Hall, thank you so much for the biddies. I appreciate it. Interesting strategy for these guys. Cole Snyder, he's bringing it close, tries to get on pit road, gets a little loose, gets on the apron, makes it on. A very close call for him, but he is on pit road safely.
Yep, 2 teammates coming in, and that will cycle James Holzer to the lead, and he'll have about a 4.5 second lead over Andrew Wisdom once this all shakes out. So that that was the difference in tires. He's going to have to work around lap traffic. He's underneath the 48 machine of Corey Blevins, who not sure if he fixed his car. Looks like he did. That right side looks nice and neat, so he used his fast repair up to fix that car. Now trying to make some laps and hold on to what track position he can, as I believe he is now 1 lap down to the rest of the field.
Yeah, James Holzer on the move. Wisdom trying to close that gap, but is just under 4 seconds. He's got his work cut out for him. We have in third Jake Roel. He's about 7.5 seconds behind, with Mons all over his back bumper trying to take over that third spot. We'll see if he's going to make a move soon, but Roel having a great run here tonight along with Justin Mons. Now, if only we can keep him out of trouble and get him up there. Matt O'Brien sitting P5 right now. We'll see if we can get him up there, about 2 seconds back from our 4th place. Honeycutt, who was in the top 5 for a while, he has fallen to P10, about 15 seconds back from our leader. I think Andrew Wisdom might be closing that gap just ever so slightly. And Mons making the move, going underneath Jake Roel in that 9 car. We'll see if he can make it happen. It is super tight on the outside. Really hard to get some momentum out there as you're coming off, but he manages to hold him off so far. We'll see if Mons is going to go for another move, trying to bring it on the inside. We'll see if he can make it happen.
Yeah, those two racing side by side, going down into turn 3. Mons with that outside lane, but the 19.9 of Jake Roel takes him down through turn 3 and 4. But Mons fights back on that outside lane, is able to clear him. So
nice move.
Mons up into the 3rd spot.
3rd spot he goes. Nice move on his end to get in front of Jake Roel. We still have Matt O'Brien in 5th with Austin Reedy. He's going to be P6, and he is about almost 10 seconds back from our leader, but sitting right outside the top 10. If he can make his way to Matt O'Brien, they're going to be having a battle soon. You can see Austin Reedy right here. I'm trying to see who is that behind him? I think that is Doc Holliday in the 88. A little bit fresher tires. He's trying to come up underneath Reedy. We'll see if he goes for the pass here. These guys are very well spread out, but Jordan, take a look at our 2nd place. That was the leader for a long time out here tonight. He is just over 2.5 seconds, now just under. He's catching our leader, Jordan.
Yeah, he's catching our leader, but that's going to eventually plateau. These drivers were real even, especially at the end of the run, and the times really seemed to plateau pretty heavily in about the 31 flat to about a 31.3 range once the tires got worn. So if Wisdom can make up this ground, it's going to get real even between those drivers. We see the 45 of Quinones go underneath Holzer to try to get his lap back. Holzer fighting back hard on the outside lane to try to keep that 45 machine down. Behind them, the 5 of Michael York also going to be attempting to get that lap back. But that racing is allowing the 9 of Wisdom to make up ground, and it's forcing the 42, as we see the 5 get the wall, able to hold on to it, but not what he wanted to see, and honestly not what the 9 of Wisdom had to see, as he took some evasive action there to make sure he didn't get into the 5.
Yeah, close call from Michael York as he made a little bit of contact there and manages to save it coming off of the corner. But James Holzer still doing really well out here, but Andrew Wisdom only 1.5 seconds behind. That's about 2 seconds less than he was a few laps ago, so that traffic definitely affecting James Holzer. A lot of maneuvering around this traffic, and that is allowing Andrew Wisdom to catch back up. Justin Mons is about 5.66 behind, so he's got a little bit until we're going to see him next, but he's got some company behind him of Matt O'Brien.
Kind of comparing the starts of their runs, the first 10 or so laps, Wisdom has run a lot harder a lot faster of lap times and a lot harder. And I think it's finally starting to catch up to him a little bit as he's fallen into the 30.4s. Meanwhile, Holzer ran a 30.6 with those older tires. So I really think that undercut by the 42 of Holzer is going to potentially be a race-winning move unless the 9 can work a little magic and make that pass, because I think Wisdom is working a little bit harder to try to make that move, and as I say that, the 42 almost stuffs it in the wall digging off of turn 4.
You know, it's so easy when you see a guy getting closer in the rearview mirror. It's easy to make those mistakes. You have to remain so consistent. And when you see those guys out ahead of you that you don't want to see, and you see the guy getting larger in your mirror, it's a lot of pressure on you. So you have to stay consistent. You can't let any of that get to you. And James Holzer, he's got a lot going on right now. You can see the traffic behind him, in front of him. He's got his work cut out for him. And Wisdom, he's making his move. He is about to be knocking on the door of James Holzer. It is getting close as we're going to see a battle for the lead any lap now.
Yeah, Holzer didn't have a very good lap that last time, and that has allowed Wisdom to pull right up on his bumper. If Wisdom's going to need to make this pass as soon as he gets there, you know, that or he can just sit there and save tire and try to let the 42 work his stuff. And I think the 9 going to want to make this move as soon as possible. The 42 takes a very defensive line through the front straight, almost puts it in the wall. The 9 trying to look underneath him, gets to his bumper. He's going to look on the inside of him. Wisdom to the inside of Holzer for the lead. He's going to make that move a lot easier than I thought and a lot quicker than I thought, and that's going to work out for him. Oh, the 42 turns in early, turns in on the 9. That was an interesting move out of Holzer. That I don't think Wisdom's going to appreciate that. Had to make a really good.
Andrew Wisdom just trying to hold on to a great save on his end. But man, oh man, as Jordan said, very interesting move on James Holzer as he is aggressively blocking. We're going to have Andrew Wisdom move on the inside, and I won't be surprised if he makes a little bit of contact and says, hey, I don't appreciate that. We have James Holzer just squeezing him down there as they are coming off the corner side by side, almost like Days of Thunder out here. You can see the traffic up ahead of them. These guys are going to have their hands full. Man, oh man, look at this side-by-side battle for the lead. These guys are insane. Great battle out here, but man, you guys, they are making me nervous.
Yeah, the issue here though is with the 42 creating that contact that might have hurt the right front of the 9, and on iRacing we all know the 9 or the right front is a really important part of the handling. So just that he's going to need to make this pass. The 42 is going to run him as hard as he can to try to burn up his stuff. But the 9 able to get clear of him. Oh, almost slides up in front of him, tries to, thinks about it, doesn't do it. He was clear there for a second, could have made the move, opted not to, and that might cost him here if the 42 is able to get back around him.
The way these guys are battling it out, you know that these tires are just going to be aching in several laps. I mean, this is just insane. Andrew Wisdom able to clear him. James Holzer moves in behind, and you know that he is not going to stay there. He's going to try to dive it low, and he's going to hope that Andrew Wisdom gets stuck by the traffic up ahead, but the 34 moves out of the way. The 42 is just going to have to stay directly behind Andrew Wisdom. What a battle. And Kool-Aid says, well, those two do love each other. I don't think this is going to help Kool-Aid.
Yeah, that was that's very aggressive driving there by the 42. It's late. There's only 43 laps remaining in this race the next time they cross the start-finish line, but using the left side of your car to dent in the right front, usually not appreciated. But meanwhile, it's also worth noting we have a few laps ago had a switch forward, the third position. Justin Mons currently in that spot, so he has moved up to the third place around Matthew O'Brien, but those two 3.8 seconds behind our leader.
Yeah, these two still pretty close, and there's still some room for Matt O'Brien to try to gain that position back, but Justin Mon's having an incredible run here tonight, and I'm really happy to see it. Knock on wood, I've said that a few times tonight, but yeah, he's just waiting for his race to happen. He needs everything to come together, and I feel like so far, this is that race. These guys are separated enough that they can stay out of trouble. They're going to have some lap traffic, but as long as they respect each other on track and give each other room, I think they're going to be okay, Jordan.
Yeah, it's going to take a car getting real tight out of 4 and knocking down the wall and collecting somebody else. And as I say that, the 42 gets real tight, loses a lot of position. I think it seems like the 42 of Holzer was driving a little bit harder than I thought he was based on the lap times he was running, because that car really starting to fall off. Either that or the 9 trying to check out to create as much of a gap as he can before this next pit cycle. The 42 probably going to try to pit early. I don't know what the 9 and all those other drivers are going to do, if they're going to try to stay out, shorten up that pit stop, or if he's going to try to cover that 42 as the 42 gets the wall just a little bit coming out of 4.
Yeah, we're looking at the lap times here for Wisdom and Holzer, and Holzer has been a little bit slower, except for lap 85. He was a little bit faster, but yeah, Wisdom, he is just on the run so far, having some great lap times this late in a run. We'll see what he can do here, but he's gonna have to keep it consistent. That is the main story here. It's a technical track, believe it or not, a super speedway. Technical track. You gotta use the brakes, and you gotta keep it consistent and try to save the tire. So not as easy as it sounds, but man oh man, it is a fun track, and I guarantee you, after all is said and done, hopefully Andrew Wisdom and Holzer will enjoy the battle that they had, because boy oh boy, that was quite a battle that they had.
Yeah, it was very entertaining, and it might not be done. We'll have to see how the rest of this race plays out. Only 11 cars currently on the lead lap, these two setting a torrid pace compared to the rest of the field. Enrique Quinones, the last car on the lead lap, and he is only a couple of car lengths in front of our leader, who is starting to bear down on him. Really going to have to pick up the pace if he's going to want to hold on to that lead lap position. We'll see how hard he races our leader to try to stay on the lead lap.
Yeah, gonna be interesting to see Enrique having a great run, and like Jordan said, all the way up to in his second, gonna be 11th of Enrique. These two going side by side. Enrique trying to keep his position here, but he's not gonna fight him too hard. He doesn't want to mess up his run or anything like that, so he's gonna move up the track and tuck in behind.
Yeah, Quinones letting the 9 machine around. He slips in between those two. He's going to hope for a quick yellow here, as not too close, but also not too far away. About half of the front straightaway is the 23 of Cole Snyder. Our 10th place driver nearly in danger of going a lap down. So that's the sort of pace that the 9 of Wisdom is putting down tonight.
Yeah, that is absolutely insane. And this is, we talked about it. It's a newer track here. A very technical track, so for guys that this may not be their cup of tea, they don't race here a lot, and they're not very good at these types of tracks, you can just see how many guys are going a lap down. And when you have guys like Andrew Wisdom running .4s out here, it is just insane. So blistering pace for him, and he's doing a phenomenal job out here tonight. Tom Flitty, we need to get you out here, sir. Need to get you out on track. What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. 91 of 125, and the gap between Wisdom and Holzer is in fact growing. You can see Holzer right here, and I want to go on board with him if I can. Let's take a look. You can see Andrew Wisdom 2 cars ahead of him as they enter the backstretch. not what he wants to see, but I'm curious. Strategies. Are they going to save? Will they be able to make it? Jordan thinks they're going to be making a short stop, and I tend to agree with him. I don't know if there's going to be anyone unless, I'm wondering, Jordan, will one of these guys a lap down try to make that happen?
There's nobody I think that can stretch the fuel, and there's nobody running enough pace to do so. Absolutely, for sure. So I don't think anybody is going to be able to one stop or go to the end of this race without having pit one more time, except for some of these drivers who have already come to pit road. But we're in the window here where we're splitting this final run into thirds with about 32 to go here. When they crossed the line, we restarted with 110 or so to go. So this is to that point where some of these drivers who have that opportunity to if they're going to try a 4-tire stop, this is where some of those drivers are going to pit. A little further in is where we're going to see 2 tires, and the 48 with really big run on our leader almost drives over him on fresh tires. But I think a little further in is where we're going to see our options start to deviate a little bit, what these drivers are going to be able to do as 2 tires, no tires become an option. But everyone is going to have to pit for fuel at some point during these final 40 laps or so, as they're going to have 30 to go when they hit the line.
You said it right there. Very clean race so far tonight, and these guys are spread out, so that is definitely going to help it. Mons has passed Holzer. Let's take a look. Holzer on pit road. So he's the first one to make a move onto pit road. Cole Snyder, Jake Rowell, these guys are also on pit road. Little strategy call for these guys. Jordan said that is one of the strategies that they can play. Split it in half. And that's exactly what these guys do. Now, what is Andrew going to do as he is going to pull onto pit road? So close.
He got loose. I think...
Nice save.
That's going to be close. I don't know. He might have if he got down to speed.
It's going to be a close call for Andrew Wisdom as he was trying to make his way onto pit road. We have a new leader here, Giovanni Klein, who we saw win the last race, and I do believe it was at that Knoxville that it was? North Wilkesboro. I don't know where I got Knoxville. Don't ask me. North Wilkesboro. He won out here for his first race of the season, and we saw him out there last week for the All-Star race, which was absolutely insane for the finish. If you haven't seen it, you gotta go watch.
Well, the 9 got off on pit road. Seems like pretty easily, so no penalty for him. He is going to pull out. Now, he's actually going to be in front of the 42 of Holzer, so him pitting immediately. And, yep, there we go, the 9 car by about 3 seconds, probably. He's leading by a lot.
That is definitely going to help him out. Close call, though, going on to pit road. And we've said it before. I'll say it again. Getting on pit road, especially with older tires, it can be disastrous, especially to try to woe that down as you're coming around a corner. It does not agree with each other, and you saw it there with Andrew Wisdom. John Honeycutt on to pit road. He is sitting P2 as he heads to pit road. Enrique Quinones is going to pass him up. Giovanni Klein, Enrique's teammate there, are going to be 1-2 as of the moment.
Yeah, we heard on the radio the 42 campaigning for some sort of penalty on the 9 for driving through too many boxes. I don't think that's actually a penalty on the game, but that usually is sort of a handshake agreement for leagues. Not sure what this league's thoughts on that are, but I don't think that complaint is going to be heard by the 42, and so the 9 of Wisdom will continue on his way as the leader, and I don't see anyone challenging him unless the 42 finds a miracle here, or the 9 gets crossed up in lap traffic, or we get a magical yellow flag near the end of this race.
Oh, almost an incident between the 9 and the 23. Just the 23 having an early entrance into the corner. Almost coming into Andrew Wisdom in that 9 car. Very close, but everything is good with these guys. Still on the move. Giovanni Klein still staying out. We have Ryan Crooks in 2nd place, getting ready to be passed by Andrew Wisdom, who is all over the back bumper on newer tires here. So he's going to be making the pass here as they enter the corner. Very close, man. I'm telling you.
The 25 making it real difficult for the 9 of Wisdom to make that pass, but finally able to, using those fresher tires. The 25 trying to be aggressive on those older tires to maintain what track position he can as they go around the wounded machine of Jamie Haynes. But Giovanni Klein still has yet to pit. Crooks has yet to pit. Quinones has not pit yet. So still several drivers on the lead lap still need to make a pit stop.
Still need to make a pit stop, and I'm curious when they are going to come in. 23 to go, so a lot of different strategies out here. We have guys all over the place, kind of. We have up to 9th place. They're a lap down or more, so the top 8 are the only ones on the lead lap for right now.
Yeah, imagine if you're staying out here, you're probably going to stay out as long as you can. And as I say that, the 63 of Giovanni Klein calls out that he is going to be coming in. So that machine coming down to pit road. So more and more of our drivers who have not pit yet starting to fall by the wayside, starting to head down pit road. I think Ryan Crooks might have actually taken 2 tires there. So that might be either 2 tires or no tires. Looking at the lap times, I believe he took 2 tires on his pit stop. So an interesting strategy call by the 25 car, and so far it has him ahead of a couple of guys he was behind. So we'll have to see how this works out. If he can stay ahead of the 17 of Matthew O'Brien, he's currently ahead of both him and the 41 of Justin Mons. I believe he was running 5th. If he can finish better than that or that position, then that was a decent strategy call.
Decent strategy call indeed, as he is Andrew Wisdom passing up the 3 car, and I do believe that is Jaden Gimbel. If Wisdom gets this win here tonight, you guys, it's going to be his 5th win of the season. This is absolutely insane. So, will we see him get his 5th win of the season? This is round 18. And there's still plenty of racing left. Week goes all the way up to November, if I do believe. Let's take a look at the schedule here. Next week, we are headed to Pocono. 2 races, doubleheader for the night, and then the week after, Road America. And they are going to have their hands full for that track, most definitely. Should be a fun show there, but yeah, that's one that I am glad I'm going to be in the booth.
Yeah, it's going to be Wheel Hop City. Going to be really interesting. I haven't seen the 9 of Andrew Wisdom on a road course. Have seen the 42 of Holzer. Imagine he will be strong in that race, but really going to be fun to watch these guys have to do something a little differently than they've had to. They've avoided the dirt and they've avoided road courses up to this point, but they can't avoid it much longer. It's Road America looming in the future a couple of weeks from now.
Absolutely. Paul, thank you for the 250 biddies. I appreciate it.
Last set of biddies for
18 to go. It is coming down to the wire here. Andrew Wisdom has been so incredibly strong the entire night. Can Holzer catch him? Will he have anything for Andrew Wisdom, or will he take home P2? We have Justin Mons in 3rd, who is going to be one of his best finishes of the season, if I'm not mistaken. He's about 5.5 seconds back from our leader. Ryan Crooks about 7 seconds back from our leader.
There's a yellow out.
And we have a caution. Let's see. It looks like Michael York involved here. Yeah, just gets loose coming off the corner into the wall, and that is only going to be your 2nd caution of the night, and looks like he's going to be the only one involved, hopefully. He was side by side with Austin Reedy, and these guys are still getting around, so he should be good.
Yeah, that looked like some massive Ned code. Like, I think he got hit by the 11, but the 11 was about a car, almost a half a car width off of him. So I think that was just.
You think that was net code? Wow,
I think that was net code.
That's a large net code.
Yeah, the 5 kind of just took off to the right there. I mean, either that or he blew a tire. I don't think you can blow tires in this game, so that just has a look. Unless he just tried to catch it that quickly in the corner. But let's take a look from the cockpit view. Let's see. He's looking left, and oh no, he did that. You're absolutely right. He got loose and hooked it right from what it looked like from the steering. So that's just what happened.
These guys are gonna go in. Looks like did somebody decide to stay out here? Yeah, our leaders are gonna go into pit road. Exactly what I would be doing. 16 to go. This changes a lot, Jordan. Man,
Yes.
Holzer, he's gonna be chomping at the bit to make it past Andrew Wisdom. Crook stays out. Klein, these guys are switching position, but man, oh man. I'm nervous, excited, scared for these guys. It's going to be an intense battle to the finish. Second caution of the night, and is coming down to the final part of the race. A huge race off to the finish line here, the pit line here. We have Andrew Wisdom, who crosses the line first. James Holzer in second. Justin Mons in third. This changes a lot, Jordan.
It does, and Ryan Crook's up one from that strategy call. He was about to fall into the clutches of Matthew O'Brien. That yellow flag might have helped him, might have hurt him. We'll see. I don't know how this. The only person that this can really hurt is the 9 of Wisdom. So this is going to be really, really, really interesting. Who might have stayed out here? Oh, Klein stayed out, and he was actually on. He actually was one of the last ones to pit. Only had about 4 laps on his tires, which that's enough to make a pretty big difference. But Klein with the strategy call to stay out on this caution flag, and I believe he's the only one of our drivers to do so.
Interesting call for him indeed. Let's see if we can find him, bring him in the booth here. Giovanni, it's Eliza in the booth. How you doing?
Doing great.
Man, huge strategy play by you. What's your thoughts going into the final part here?
Hopefully I can hold them off.
It's going to be quite a battle for you. I'm hoping you can bring home a win. That would be huge for you tonight. It's going to be quite a battle coming to the finish, though.
It is. Woo.
A lot of luck to you out there, and hopefully we'll see you in the booth.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's get him back. Giovanni, a huge strategy call. We'll see how it plays out for him, but man, oh man, these guys are making me nervous. Oh my goodness, Andrew Wisdom is going to be hungry directly behind him. How is he going to maneuver around and with Giovanni Klein, who chose to stay out? It's going to get wild. It is going to get wild. Kool-Aid says it ain't going to work this week. Tom?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's going to be a tough restart for the 63 of Klein.
I think so. Kyle David, what's up? How are ya? Tom says I'd stay out. YOLO. Yeah, it's going to be wild. Mike, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. These guys, mentally, I can only imagine what they're thinking, how they're feeling. You know, this is where things can go massively wrong. You saw it last week at the All-Star race. I mean, these guys were 4 wide coming to the finish line, and just all chaos broke loose. This is only the second caution of the night, and with 13 to go, things are going to get crazy. You just expect it. I'm on the edge of my seat already. I'm nervous for these guys. I'm excited. We have Andrew Wisdom trying to go for his 5th win of the season. Giovanni Klein trying to go for his 2nd win of the season. James Holzer out there. He's looking at a few wins this season. That would be his 3rd of the season. Justin Mons, I do believe it's going to be his first one of the season if he can get it. And these guys are off to start once again. 13 to go. Giovanni Klein gets a great start. We have the 42 of James Holzer. Huge start for him with Andrew Wisdom falling back to third, Jordan.
Yeah, not a good start for Wisdom, really, even with the 42, who had the opportunity to go when the 63 went. So that actually worked out really well for him. Holzer ripped that wide entry to try to get to get the late apex, but not able to get past the 63. The 63 holds it low. Now Giovanni Klein blocks low, not able to make that move. Holzer going to get to his inside, take the lead going down into turn 1. Oh, the 9 gets a little bit of contact from the 41 of Justin Mons. So, got into his left rear.
Tempers flaring, aggression coming out. James Holzer super aggressive on that restart.
Oh,
he goes out
9.
to the front. Yeah,
Wisdom.
go ahead. Oh,
the 9 of Wisdom Rex.
Yeah, Andrew Wisdom into the wall. Let's take a look at that.
Yeah,
63. Yeah, those two make contact and he goes straight into the wall. Not the finish he wants to see. Man, oh man, heartbroken for him. What a run. Led most of the race here tonight. Less than 10 to go, and James Holzer is our leader. Justin Mons, he's going to come out here in second under caution.
Yeah, just an absolute mess. It started all the way in turn 1 of that lap. The 9 of Wisdom tried to make a 3-wide move to, well, not really a 3-wide. He just wasn't clear. I don't know. The 41 kind of got in there deep, missed the corner, so I don't think he was going to make the corner anyway. Got in there real deep. The 9 just wasn't expecting him to be as deep into the corner, and they made contact there, and then from there it was just on like Donkey Kong for the 9 of Andrew Wisdom, who once again sees another race slip through his hands after a late caution flag.
Yeah, I want to bring Justin Mons in the booth here. Justin, it is Eliza. How you doing out there?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. Man, what a crazy restart. Absolutely hectic. How was it going through there for you, and what are you looking for as far as this next restart?
I was just trying to maintain positioning there. Tried to give Andrew a good push on the initial restart. We ended up falling back a little bit to Holzer. And then going back into 1, I went for a block on the 25 behind me and centered just a little too hard. And I think I net coated Wisdom there, but I know it's my fault. So I know I keyed up and told him, hey, I know I got you. My fault on that. So I want to try and get a better jump on the restart here. I'm going to be on the outside, I think. So just try and compete with Holzer. He's so good on the short run. So it's holding on and turning the wheel to 3 o'clock on that corner exit to stay with him.
Absolutely. Well, I wish you luck. Hopefully we can get you your first win of the season here. A lot of luck to you moving forward.
Thank you so much, guys.
All right. That was Justin Mons. You heard it from him. He's going to have to be aggressive, Jordan. We have James Holzer out here who has been extremely aggressive, especially on that last restart. So, he's going to be blocking. And Justin Mons, will he answer?
Yeah, with the opportunity to decide when he can go. I believe the 17 of Matthew O'Brien is no, he's not. I'm thinking of somebody else. A very interesting decision to take the high line from what I'm hearing, but if the 42 can get a good restart, I don't really see anybody getting to him. I think the 41 of Mons might have the pace, and the 17 of O'Brien, that was part of that foursome that kind of legged it out at the beginning of that long green flag run before the first set of pit stops, and then they all got spread out once they all got on different strategies. But so those 3, I feel like, have the pace to keep up with the 42, but they're going to have to get a heck of a jump here. They're going to have to time it right, because with the 42 having the advantage of controlling the restart, it's going to be really, really difficult for any of these guys to be able to make the pass on him.
Absolutely. As Mon said, he's so fast on the short run here. He is going to be a challenge to try to get by. So we'll see if they can make it happen. But Ryan Crooks out here making his presence known out in that 25, so we'll see how he can finish off his race here tonight. We have the 63 of Giovanni Klein doing good. John Honeycutt back up in almost the top 5, right on the outside looking in, so we'll see how he does here tonight. But man, this story is going to be between, I'd say, the top 3 here. Spider, what's up? Mike says big oof on that. Kool-Aid gave John another W. We'll see. It ain't over till the fat lady sings, and she hasn't sung yet, so we still got 7 to go. I'm nervous, though. I'm on the edge of my seat, and I can't imagine their anxiety level right now, because this is going to be intense, guys.
The 41 really holding tight. You can he's just trying to get his vision. You can see he's saying right there, he's just trying to keep the 42's nose in his vision so that he can try to judge when Holzer goes as quickly as possible. Holzer slows him down just a little bit, then speeds it up. The old Kyle Busch maneuver on the restart, that allows him to jump out there. The 41 Amon's going to have to do everything he can to hold on to second place as Holzer gets out to a big lead.
Yeah, that's a tough start for Mons there. You know, it's one of those tricks that they do. And 3 wide going for P2. Matt O'Brien, Ryan Crooks, and Justin Mons all going 3 wide. The 25 of Ryan Cook's going to be the good guy in that one and come out second. Matt O'Brien still going side by side, making a little bit of contact with Justin Mons. Not the start he wants to see. Man, oh man. It's getting crazy out there, Jordan.
Yeah, Holzer really wants to see this. Oh, the 17, oh. He goes around. 11 gets into it. The 9 gets a little bit of damage. Multiple drivers involved in that one.
Let's take a look if we can see what happened with that. I'm trying to get to it, and it's not doing it for me.
A little bit of net code, but I think the 63 was going to slide up to him anyway. The 63 of Giovanni Klein involved in yet another one there with this time with the 17 of Matthew O'Brien.
Yeah, really tough for him. He's moving back to P13. I want to see if he's got any damage on that. Oh yeah, the front of that hood definitely banged up. Ah, man. I'm heartbroken for these guys. You have Andrew Wisdom, who had an incident. Matt O'Brien, who was super strong. James Holzer, man, he's got all the tricks in the books on this one. Those restarts, these guys are really going to have to stay alert as far as restarting here against him.
Yeah, Wisdom actually did a good job of making it through there, so he's going to be in 6th. A couple more yellows here, and he's going to be in position to get back to that 42 car. But again, with him being able to control the restarts, it's just going to be real difficult, and he's picking the outside lane on these restarts, and I kind of have to wonder if you have to see that car to be able to really judge it well, and I wonder if he's picking that outside lane just because that makes it that much more difficult to see his car when he jumps. With it being on that right side, it can be real difficult in these cars to judge where the right side of your vehicle is sometimes, especially those of us without big old monitors and triple monitors and all the other fancy stuff. Those of us with like a TV or a single monitor, us peasants, it makes it a little more difficult to see that right side of that car. So kind of wondering if that's what his thinking is.
We're on board with Justin Mons, and you saw the restart he had. You know he's got to be extremely frustrated. It's honestly probably better that he's starting P3. He's going to be right behind James Holzer. If he goes to the low side, it's going to be Ryan Crooks, who's going to be on the outside of him, is going to have to anticipate his restart and what he's going to do. I mean, the cards were shown. He slowed up and then got a huge run as they had to slow up with him. So, man, these guys have their work cut out for them. It's going to be a very interesting restart as we have under 3 to go.
Yeah, it's just so tough. You basically have to guess right if you're that other driver, if you're going to be able to maintain that track position. But Crooks is going to have to guess correctly and hope that he goes the moment that the 42 of Holzer does as well. basically his only opportunity to win this race. With this being a green white checker, there's just really isn't enough time, barring some sort of mistake, to make up that gap that you can get going into turn one, leading and controlling the restart. So it, depending on how well a 25 gets off the line, this might just be a battle for second here on this restart. But for the sake of excitement, everyone can win. Anyone on the lead lap, there's 16 cars that can win this race.
Anything is possible. I mean, we've seen it here. Once we think someone is going to win, something happens and it doesn't happen. So it gets crazy. Sir CJ, thank you so much for the compliment. I really appreciate it, and I will see you. Next week I'll be on vacation, but the week after, hopefully, I will see you then. Atlanta Racing, what's up? How are ya? Appreciate you being here. Ah, man, you guys. I'm so nervous. I keep saying it, but man, oh man. I'm glad I'm out here because final restarts like this, boy, oh boy, does it get intense, and I think there's going to be some tempers flaring after this one. You know, James Holzer is going to pull out every trick in the book, and it looks like Jordan, he's going to take the outside.
Yep. I just think he's trying to make it more difficult for that driver on the inside to be able to see him. You're going to have to drift back even further to be able to see the nose of that car, because it's really, unless you have a spotter with you, that's really the only a way of judging exactly the moment the 42 goes of Holzer. Going to be curious to see what kind of speed he maintains here coming to the green flag. Actually did a much better job of it than it visibly looked that last time around, but still, he definitely fancies himself someone that can play some games, so we'll see what he does here on this restart. We'll see what the 25 of Crooks can do. This is the furthest up we've seen him all race long. He's been in and around the top 5 basically the entire night. We'll see what he's got here when we go green.
Yeah, you know, like I said, this is one of the first times, I'm pretty sure the first time we've seen him out here, definitely making his presence known, and he's got his work cut out for him as we are coming back to the restart with 3 laps to go. James Holzer already on the move in the 41 of Justin Mons into Honeycutt, and oh boy. Really unfortunate here, man. I'm telling you what, I don't know if it's like a huge jinx here happening, but James Holzer makes it through that. The 25, Giovanni Klein, Andrew Wisdom, we see him back up here in the top 5, but boy oh boy. Let's take a look.
Also, that's going to move the 9 of Andrew Wisdom up to 4th, so he's going to be right on the back bumper of our leader if he continues to take the outside lane here.
John Honeycutt almost had it saved, but as he was saving it, they went 3 wide. And that pretty much finished him off, along with a few others that were getting some damage. Oh, man. Tough night for some of these guys, but yet cautions breed cautions, and here we are. I told you guys, I'm calling it. Clean race all the way through. Once a late caution happens, just all chaos happens, and here we are. Get the popcorn out, is gonna get crazy. TW Warehouse, I know, I hate it for Mons. I hate it. Some of these guys missing the front end. You see Michael York there in that number 5. Tough night for him. James Holzer sitting pretty out here in the lead with Ryan Crooks in 2nd, Giovanni Klein in 3rd. Said earlier, Andrew Wisdom out here in 4th. Jake Roel gonna be in the top 5 here.
Now the 42 is gonna take the bottom, according to what I'm hearing in the old chat. I don't think he doesn't want that 9 of Wisdom to get that run. I think he knows that he has a better shot of beating the 25 and the 63 than beating that 9. The 9 has been faster than him the entire race. Definitely doesn't want him on his bumper to get that benefit of being able to judge his restart off of the leader, and that is probably going to be the winning move unless we get another yellow, which from what we've seen the last 30 laps or so, yeah, probably gonna see one.
We will see. Atlanta, the Price is Right horn is your ringtone. Okay, that's funny. That thing is the best. I will say that myself, like during random times. Spider with the tier 1 sub, thank you so much. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome out here. Titanic flute being played for these guys in their final lap here at Nashville Superspeedway.
GST_Spider.
Oh my goodness, we've seen it all. We've seen it all.
the off-tune Titanic
yes.
flute.
That's exactly what it is. Oh man. Yeah. Let's go, Sammy, Wolfpack says. Let's find where Sammy is. He is out here. P15. Fixing that damage. Got a little bit of damage to that front end. Coming back to the pack here.
Not that long ago, we only had about 9 drivers on the lead lap. Now we're up to 15. Few of them have gotten knocked back off of it due to damage, but we continue to get more yellows. We could get, you know, about 2 or 3 more of them on the lead lap here before this thing's done.
Yeah, John Honeycutt and Matt O'Brien still on pit road. Honeycutt is minus 2 laps from that incident. Really, really unfortunate. I'm not quite sure what happened to Mons, if he missed a shift or just spun the tires and got extremely loose. Really unfortunate for all of them.
Yeah, it just sounds like he lost it while shifting up from the sound of things when he went from first to second. Though that was when the rear end came out from underneath him, and just a big old mess there at the end, or at the beginning. But again, really, really interesting to see how this restart's going to shape out. If we get one more yellow, if the 9's able to make up a couple more spots here, but he's going to be stuck behind the 25, and that's not a slight on the 25 of Crooks. It's just that opposite lane from the leader is at such a disadvantage on restarts on iRacing. It's going to be really, really tough for him to maintain pace, and probably going to lose a spot or two going down into turn 1.
We will see what happens here, but it is coming down to the wire. Swap says he ran over a banana. That's bananas.
Oh, that'll happen.
It's very possible. We've seen it all here tonight.
I didn't know there were item boxes out there. If we could get
These
a blue
guys
shell
throwing
on this
bananas.
restart.
Yeah, throwing bananas out the window. These guys are getting ready to go back off the start. You can see them huddling up super close together, trying to anticipate what our leader James Holzer is going to do on this final restart. 3 laps to go. Ryan Crook's going to hold back a little bit, trying to anticipate when he's going to go. Giovanni Klein all over his bumper. These guys really, really bunching up. James Holzer, he is off and running. Some of these guys going low, making it 3, almost 4 wide at the start for second. Wowzer.
Yeah, they looked 4 wide. I think the 19 of Roel had to concede the spot. The 9 of Wisdom got in there as deep as he could. Wasn't able to make it stick, trying to get a bit of a run here on the outside lane. The 42 predictably gets out to a huge run, but the 25 of Ryan Crooks able to hold on to that second spot. Now he's going to have to fend off from Andrew Wisdom, who is going to be looking for that second position as they take the white flag. Oh, there's a big wreck.
Final lap. These guys are going to continue on. James Holzer is still leading. Ryan Crooks in second. Andrew Wisdom in third. I don't know if they're going to be able to catch him, but we are coming on the backstretch, entering our final turn of the night for Nashville Superspeedway. Ryan Crooks trying to take a look. It looked like he was trying to just dive it in there, catch up any time that he can. Gets loose off the corner. James Holzer is going to be your winner here at Nashville Superspeedway. Huge congratulations to him. Ryan Crooks in second, Andrew Wisdom in third, Jake Roel in fourth, and Giovanni Klein is going to round out the top 5 here tonight. What a finish here, Jordan. Man, oh man. I'm pretty sure these guys gave me about 40 heart attacks in the finish.
Yeah, the 19 of Roel made an early move, and not sure if maybe that was an illegal move or what, but he ended up having to give that position back. and that killed his run. The 9 of Wisdom, he went to the outside, and there was a moment there, like you said, I thought we were going to take it in there 4 wide into turn 1, but still an excellent job of Crooks just to maintain what he could on that restart. Wisdom in a pretty not great position there on that restart, able to come home in 3rd position. So some excellent driving by some of these guys at the end of this race. Well, a few of them. We did have a bunch of yellows, so can't say everyone had excellent driving, but it is what it is.
It is what it is, and some of these guys had a rough night, but James Holzer out here celebrating another win of the season. Did a great job. You can see it here. This is going to be his 2nd win of the season. Oh wait, no, it's going to be his 3rd win of the season. I can count, I promise. Nice burnout on his end. I'm still trying to find Ryan Crooks out here. I want to talk to this fella. Made his presence known, but James Holzer, huge congratulations to you out there. 3rd win of the season. Man, oh man, were your restarts something. Take us through the final restarts and your strategy.
Oh, had to be on my side there. We were on older tires and just all about changing it up. And I knew Wisdom was faster on fresher tires. So made the mistake and put him on the same lane as I was on the next to last restart. But last restart we were able to stack them, and the car wasn't handling well because I hit the wall on accident on the front stretch. The right front was tore up, but got enough room off the restart to prevail the position, and it was huge. We really didn't have anything for Wisdom, so we used the short pit strategy and just really trying to fight to hold him off, but the tires were just too much to overcome. And then we had that really good restart from 3rd, and he kind of bobbled it from 2nd when Giovanni stayed out, and we were able to gain the lead there. And honestly, just the track position was so huge because the aero push in the Chevy was, I don't know if it's all cars, but the Chevy, like my nose took off probably 4 or 5 times, whether it was a splitter on the ground or what it was, but I just took off a few times, and having the fresh air was huge. Even with the tire difference, it was tough to pass, even because Wisdom took 4 or 5 laps to pass me when we were battling hard there in that 2nd run. But yeah, what a race! A lot of emotions tonight out on the track, as I lost my grandmother about an hour before the race, so really wanted to bring this one home for her. And man, this is probably the biggest win of my life, honestly. This one's for her.
Definitely. Really sorry to hear that, but so happy that you got that win for your grandmother tonight. Great win. Emotional win for James Holzer. Celebrate tonight. Celebrate the life of your grandmother. You know she's looking down on you, super proud.
Thank you. Yeah, we're going to celebrate for sure.
Absolutely. All right, Jordan, we don't have a Ryan Crooks in here for 2nd, but let's bring it in for Andrew Wisdom.
Yeah, here with Andrew Wisdom, and once again led a ton of laps and just ended up not being meant to be. Almost was able to make up a lot of ground there through those final restarts, but just talk about your race and how that race ended there, those final restarts.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say about it anymore. I think that's two races in a row at least that it's like there's nothing I can do about it. I felt like we had the best car all night, had the best speed, had the best tires, played the right strategy, and then that we just got caught out by those cautions. Giovanni staying out really hurt us. It was one of those tracks where, I mean, if you go one more lap longer, you're going to fall off the cliff after 2 or 3 laps on a run. So I was really hoping he would have pitted, but whatever, it is what it is. Yeah, I don't know what we're going to have to do to try to get these things to go green to the end or try to close it out, but just frustrated. It seems like it's the same thing every week sometimes, but just want to extend my condolences to James and congratulations to him for winning the race.
Thanks, Andrew.
That is a disappointed Andrew Wisdom, dominated the night, still was able to rebound back to 3rd late.
Incredible rebound. I mean, that drive back through the field, incredible after all that. So huge props for him for that. But you guys, Nashville Superspeedway ended up as crazy as we thought it was going to be for the finish here. Huge drive for these guys. Next week, they are at Pocono, a double header. and it's going to be double the crazy, double the chaos, double the action. So be sure to tune in 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight, for the subs, for the follows, for the biddies. You guys are amazing. For the chats, I love you guys all, and we'll see you guys next week. Take it easy.